Well, it's a new year, 2015. The year that we're supposed to get hoverboards and self-tying shoes, according to Back to the Future 2, like everyone keeps referencing. So I figured, might as well join the bandwagon because I like Back to the Future 2. Anyway, what I want this video to be is essentially a 1 year retrospective, well, over 1 year retrospective from 2013 to today. I became born again Christian in 2013, October 5th to be exact. And with that transition also came me from being a singer to a worship leader and a pianist, which is now my main instrument as opposed to singing. First group that I played piano with, or keyboard I should say, is InterVarsity Christian Fellowship at UTEP. It was our annual Great Escape Conference. It was in Lone Tree Bible Ranch in Capitan, New Mexico. And I volunteered to play piano for them because the person who would have been playing piano would be my best friend Mimi, and she would also be singing at the same time. So I figured, you know what, I can play piano, and since I don't sing this heavy music, I can just stick to that and you can sing. And she said, okay. So I played piano for them, I played keyboard for them, and that was the first taste of what I got of what it's like to be a pianist in a show. Especially because that was where the Lord saved me, and I accepted Jesus on the second night of that conference. And over that time I decided, you know what, I want to keep on with piano. I decided to join along as a regular member of the worship team for InterVarsity at UTEP. Along the way, I also, what's the word I'm looking for? Inadvertently joined a second worship group called Vitality, because the people we got to join in on our worship team for Great Escape, InterVarsity's Great Escape Conference, were from a place called Sunshine Community Church, or at least they gathered there a lot for their worship. And what happened was that Mimi was brought in to sing for one of their youth worship nights, and she got myself, her, and select other members of InterVarsity to play for a gig that they were having called, what's it called? Night of Worship, that's what it's called. Eventually, she joined Vitality to do a couple songs, Oceans Where Feet May Fail, and to be honest, I don't know what the second one was. I think they gave it to someone else, but she ended up taking like 3 other songs, but I digress. And the deal with that was I had gone with her so I could watch her practice. And they were practicing in the church's youth room. Again, it's called Sunshine Community Church. And they were practicing Oceans, and there was no pianist. So she asked the song director, Patty Paul, song director? I'm going to go with song director, if I could play piano. And she came to me and said, Sal, I didn't know you play piano. And I was like, yeah, I play keyboard, I play piano, and yeah. And so she offered me to play piano for Oceans, and if I was willing to join any other songs. I said, I'm up for Oceans, but that's about it. Eventually, the group from InterVarsity backed out one by one due to time constraints, especially because that conference that we were playing for, the event, the night of worship, was during our university finals week, and no one could make it because they were all studying. And due to that, it boiled down to just myself and Mimi. So the the manager of Vitality and the manager of the whole conference, Arturo Solis, or Turi, he came to me and said, you know, you're not doing, our group was called Fourth Act, you're not playing for Fourth Act anymore, so how would you like to be pianist for Vitality? And I said, okay, sure, why not? So I was actually doing double duty, which in retrospect is pretty cool. I had my piano in front of me and a keyboard to my right, and I played concurrently, I don't know if that's the right word, consecutively, that's not the right word. I played both at the same time. And it was great, and I loved it. It was a whole new experience for me. Only issue was a majority of the songs I didn't feel the need to add piano to, so a lot of songs I just didn't play. And this is a funny story. I don't think Patty knows this. I don't think Dudi knew this. But it was divided into 2 parts. And I was on piano for both parts. The entire first part of the gig, I didn't play anything. All I did was hit a note in the bass on the piano and play a melody on a keyboard for the first song, and that was it. The rest of the first set, I didn't play anything because I didn't know what to play. The chords that I gotten didn't make sense to me and didn't go with what they were playing. So, excuse me, I picked a bad time to vlog. A bad time to vlog. Apparently I forget how to speak English. So I played nothing for that first part. And after that, I had gone out of the sanctuary into the hallway to where Patty came up to me and said, "Good job on piano, you did amazing." And I'm just there. I told her, thank you, I really appreciate it. And then after she goes, I just think to myself, I hit one note on the piano in the first song, I played nothing the rest. Either she's being super nice, or I can be really good at piano by not doing anything. That was probably my favorite moment out of that gig. Actually, that's a lie. That's my second favorite moment. Because my first favorite moment, and this is where... let me situate myself better. This is where I legitimately did play piano for the first time. Like, straight up melody, straight up... would have been sheet music, but I learned it by ear because I can't read sheet music while playing piano just yet. And it was a song Strong Enough by Stacey Orrico. As stated previously, fourth act, that's what the university group was called for this gig, fourth act. Everyone pulled out, thus leaving myself and Mimi. So we only did one song, Strong Enough by Stacey Orrico. And the song is basically just piano and strings, though we didn't have the strings, so I just played piano. And it was my first time playing a straight up melody song. I usually just play chords. This was actually a proper melody. Would have been on sheet music, like I said. And during practices, it took me forever to learn the song. Simply because, one, I'm playing for university. Two, I'm learning the songs for Vitality and I'm not getting it. And three, I just didn't have a lot of time to work on it, especially because the keyboard that I have at my house does not have piano-sized keys. They're thinner keys, and it's really hard for me to play on it. It took me a very long time to learn it, and even at the time of the gig, I didn't have the song completely learned. Most of it was improvised by me. And I would just keep messing up, hitting notes where they didn't go, and just missing out on melodies altogether. And on that gig, on that event, I actually managed, with the grace of God, of course, because He played through me, I managed to play the whole song all the way through, no mistakes at all. It was probably the biggest rush I've ever had playing piano. We finished playing, we finished the song, got off stage, Mimi sat down, I ran to her and hugged her because I was so happy, and it was amazing. It was the best moment I've ever had playing piano. Whenever I would go back to a video, I would just be like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever. I can't believe I pulled that off. Of course, now I've majorly improved on piano to where I can play strong enough. A little bit, I don't want to say a lot better, but I can play better than I did before. So now I just looked at the video thinking, why are you taking it so slow? Come on, it goes faster than that. There's a melody right there that you're not getting. Come on, there's an intricacy right there. Why is your hair so short? But I digress. Seriously, why is my hair so short? So from that point onward, I managed to get more into music playing piano. By that point, I was still identifying myself as a singer, but I had lost my voice for around 3 months due to a very, very strong cough, asthma attack. I don't know what to call it. It was just a very strong cough that I had, and all the coughing and hacking that I did, especially due to the climate change from here in El Paso, Texas to Capitan, New Mexico, it really took a toll on my immune system just because I guess my body... I was already sick heading into Great Escape in 2013, and the climate change in Capitan aggravated it. So when I came back to El Paso, I just spent that whole night coughing and coughing. I could just feel my voice deteriorating, and I had no voice for 3 months. But in a way, it was kind of a blessing from God, because it's like He's saying, okay, now that you don't have your voice to worry about, let's get you on piano. And because of in those 3 months, I really started to situate myself on piano, and it was really great because now I always consider myself a vocalist and then a pianist, or keyboardist I should say. Now I do consider myself a keyboardist as opposed to a vocalist. I don't call myself a pianist just yet, simply for the fact, simply for the fact that I can't read sheet music. I can read sheet music on classical music and in choral music, but I can't read it when playing piano. Raising Our Voices was the second gig for Vitality. It was co-arranged by Dig Ministries, which was run by Arturo Solis and Patty Paul, as I've mentioned them earlier, and Youth United, which is a local Christian gig organization, by my understanding. And Vitality was the worship attraction for that event. It was really good. The first night, we actually had a bit of delay because the pastor speaking before us ended up going, I believe it was an hour past his time slot, so we only got to play a couple songs. But in the end, we played the song I Put on Christ by Laura Hackett, IHOP Casey, and that was, in my opinion, our song of the night. After the night of worship gig, I had partially pulled out to go to my musical endeavors. But in the months preceding me being invited back to Vitality, I was craving IHOP pancakes. I was really craving IHOP. I didn't know why. So Turi called me and said, "Hey, we're doing a gig. We're doing another worship event. It's called Raising Our Voices, and we're doing it similar to International House of Prayers worship nights, IHOP KC's gigs." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not craving IHOP pancakes. I'm being called to do this." So I did it. And then after the first night, we actually went to IHOP to get pancakes, to get food from there. I thought that was just a really convenient coincidence and something really great. At IHOP, after the first night of Raising Our Voices, it was a 2-night gig. Turi told all of us that during that song, I Put on Christ, it was a fulfillment of a vision that he had where a man in black was preaching over a worship band and the crowd was just singing along. Something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what he said, unfortunately. And Put on Christ with the speaker. Oh my gosh. I can't remember the person's name right now. I've known it for so long since that gig, and now I don't remember his name. But anyway, with him preaching over us as we played Put on Christ, and the crowd, all the youth, because it was a youth gig, just jumping and getting into it, it was his complete fulfillment of his vision, and he thanked every single one of us for it. That was really touching to me because I was part of something bigger than what it appeared to be. Not only was I part of a gig, not only was I playing piano, I was playing it for God. It was a worship gig, of course. We were Vitality. I don't like taking credit for myself just because it's a group effort. We were bringing kids to come to know the Lord. And we ended up fulfilling our manager's vision, Arturo Solis' vision. And it was something really great. I felt really emotional when he told us, and I was really happy as a result. The second night of Raising Our Voices, Mimi and I were heading to Sunshine Community Church to get prepared for the gig. We weren't there at the beginning because Vitality wasn't on till the end, but we got there sometime in the afternoon. And while we were getting there, that's when we found out that Turi, Arturo Solis, had passed away that morning. I didn't know Turi for that long. I'm going to call him Turi from here on out. But I grew close to him simply because I met him through his little brother Jon. The three of us were all wrestling aficionados. We were very deep into WWE, and that's one thing that actually got us to be friends. And he was always happy to see me. He nicknamed me the Amazing Salamander. And that second night of Raising Our Voices was especially difficult because Vitality was removed from the second night of Raising Our Voices out of respect for Jon. So we had to convince the pastors in charge of it to let Vitality play because we had gone to Jon's house and we stayed there. Their mom, Patty is the mom of Turi and Jon, by the way, had left to, I think it was San Antonio, and she was on her way back. And all of Vitality was at Jon's house. We prayed for Jon, we did our best to cope with it, and Patty arrived. We did our best to comfort her and Mackenzie. It's so hard to talk today about Turi, just because it's been over 6 months since he passed away, but a lot of times I always think, I wonder what Turi has planned for Vitality next, and then I remember he's gone. So this was the first time that I've ever had to deal with the death of a friend. I have never had to deal with a friend passing away before. This was completely new to me. And we played Raising Our Voices the second night after all. We did Turi's favorite song, With Everything, which Put on Christ was a song of the night of the first event, but for me personally, With Everything, Hillsong United, was the song of the whole event. That, I think, was our biggest song. All the worship leaders were singing, all the youth were singing, all the staff were singing, all the priests were singing. It was a beautiful moment. And I just think to myself, Turi gets to watch us play his favorite worship song from the best seat in the house, up in heaven, next to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. About a week later, we had his funeral again at Sunshine, and we played With Everything again, which was just as heartfelt as it was at Raising Our Voices. And oddly enough, God's Great Dance Floor by Chris Tomlin, which was probably the most upbeat song ever played at a funeral, but it wasn't Turi's will. Honestly, it makes me want to start writing my will, because you never know when your time's going to be up, when God will call you home. So a fond memory that I have with Turi and also Jon is that in WWE, for those of you who don't watch WWE, there was a stable called Evolution. Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair. As Christians, we believe in biblical creation, that God created everything as is. So something that I posted on Facebook was that if Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton are Evolution, myself, Arturo Solis, and Jon Paul are Creation. Eventually we're joined by a friend of mine that I know from YouTube, Steven Solorio, Movie Buff 3000 as I know him, and Creation was born. The slogan that Turi came up with for us was, "We don't adapt, we create." Evolution's slogan and their second run in WWE was "Adapt or Perish." So as a response, Turi came up with, "We don't adapt, we create." With Christmas, I don't know English, with Christmas approaching, I decided I would get a little gift for myself and Jon. So this is the logo for Creation on the front in all gold. I updated the text. I really hope this is coming out in video. I updated the text to be more clean, and then in the back, "We don't adapt, we create." Arturo Solis' birth and death date. And this is honestly surreal to me because my graphics that I made are on a t-shirt. In fact, let me get into that now. 2014 was big for me as I approached my major at university, which is digital media production. I bought my first proper DSLR camera, which I'm using right now, and I also started making graphics for people. Well, I started making graphics for my Facebook group, Pro Wrestling is Taking Over Facebook, and eventually I started making graphics for YouTuber Spaz Phoenix, for his shows, for his reviews on Raw and SmackDown and such, for his monthly show Ask the Phoenix, and his Road to WrestleMania show called Road Signs, which is the latest graphic that I made for him. After that, I made the official posters for InterVarsity at UTEP, and they were printed, they were put online, they were put all over campus, and that was surreal to me, seeing a graphic that I made printed out as a poster all over campus. And then second poster I made was for a friend of mine, Michael Garcia, for his senior recital. I made two posters, one the actual poster and a second one as a joke. In retrospect, that second poster probably would have gotten much more people, but anyway. And that poster was actually officially used by the Department of Music at UTEP. Now I've really gotten into my major. It also helped me get into my music. I made a music video for my cover of Mad World by Gary Jules. So just these past 15 months alone have been amazing for me. I've grown as a Christian. I've grown closer to God. He's changed me so much without me even realizing it. I helped fulfill a friend's dream, which was especially touching because it was right before God called him home. I've grown closer to friends. I've made new friends. I've gone to places I never thought I'd go before. I'm honestly very happy with my life. A while back, a friend asked me, how would you like to just go away from El Paso and leave everything behind, come with me, so-and-so. Meant it as a joke, but still. And at that point, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm an officer for InterVarsity. I'm in 2 bands. I've enhanced in piano. I'm learning to adapt my voice to worship music. And I made a bunch of new friends. And from that point onward, especially now, I can honestly say that I'm very happy with my life. And before I would think, what would happen if I did this differently? What would happen if I changed things? Would I ever go back in time to relive or change something? And honestly, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change a thing in my life. No matter how embarrassing or traumatic it may have been for me, I wouldn't change a thing, just because everything that's happened has made me the person that I am today, and I am very happy with who I am. I can always be improved, and I know God is still working on me. Especially since I've barely been a born-again Christian for a little over a year. Now I'm in university. A lot of people lose their high school friends when they enter college. I still have all my high school friends, such as Juan and the guys, my former bandmates. Stephanie, she's been my best friend since high school. I have Mimi. I consider her my sister. I love her to death. She's just a great person. John, he's my broski. He's like a little brother to me. Victor Mendez, You Betcha Productions. You know, it's great working with him on stuff, especially because we've had a film theory class together now, so that's really cool. Little Mackenzie. All my friends in Intro to Filmmaking, Andres, Sebastian, Miles. I got to see my best friend from pre-K, Karina Flores, get married. It's nice knowing that I have friendships even as far back as pre-kindergarten, still going to this day. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I know I'm not popular enough on YouTube to actually warrant a video like this, but I just had to do this just for the sake of vlogging and for the sake of speaking my mind on camera. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you all in my next video, which hopefully I can make this into a weekly thing. God bless you all, and take care.